Setting up the WHS4350 receiver for deployment. First off, make sure you have a full complement of batteries in your battery tray, and then connect up using the two plugs here with your USB cable connected. And as you can see, some new items come along here, little icons. I'm going to stop logging as I'm going to delete the data that just was on board the receiver. And at the bottom here you'll see it's node ID 1. This is a prototype. It's connected via COM8 and the SD card reads OK. So to set up your receiver, use the setup menu item. Start right at the top, SD card setup. Initialize the SD card. Here's some data on board this I've already downloaded. So I'm going to initialize and it'll give you a warning and go yes. And the erase could take up to about a minute and 15 seconds, but that was only a small amount. Okay, and I'm just going to press close now. Just told how long it took in that small window. And then you go to setup, date time setup, and as you can see, the receiver clock is ahead of your system clock by about 6 billion seconds. So I'm going to send my PC time with my GMT correction here at the top. And now it should say that my clock is synchronized with the receiver. So you press done. A good idea is to set the clock on all of your receivers using the same computer and make sure that computer has recently updated its time. Next up in the setup, logging schedule. Now if you don't have a temperature pressure sensor or a tilt sensor, just set it to 255 seconds, which is the maximum. Now as for data logging, if you're putting them out and you just want presence absence, you can use a schedule if you want, just to listen for various lengths of time, or you can have it always on. If you're deploying for an array, always have it on. Otherwise, if you're just checking on fish passing slowly by your receivers, you can actually set it up so that it'll cycle on and cycle off. I'm going to show you how to do that. You can have a 24-hour schedule. And as you can see here, I have full cycle time of 1 minute, and when it's going to be listening is only 30 seconds out of every minute. Next up, I have to select every hour, but you click on the on here, and you should be able to see a little down arrow, and then you just select cycle time, and it'll populate all 24 hours so that your receiver is only listening for 30 seconds out of every minute. The most important part with this would be to send it to the receiver. And once it's sent, then you can press done. But I'll show you the other options first. You can always have it on, which we've already seen, but a daily schedule is units in days. Let's say you're setting out your receiver to be on for, I want it on for 7 days, then off for 35, then on for 7 days. So this is sort of an endless sort of loop you can do with your receiver if you have certain time frames that you want it on. So if you only want it on just to do checking on the first day, then you want it off for a week, you can just select 7 days, and you can just keep on going here. So it's off for 7 days, and then you want it on for, let's say, 3 weeks, so 21 days, and then off again, and you just want it off for a period of 120 days, sleeping during the winter, and then back on, and you got 35 weeks or 35 days. Actually, we can just put it 120 days on just for demonstration purposes. So the way this one will work is it's going to be on for 1 day, off for a week, and then on for 3 weeks, off for 4 months, and then back on again for 4 months straight. Permutations are endless on this particular schedule. So now, since I am wanting a 60-second on, 30-second off schedule, 30 seconds out of every minute, I have to go back here, just press to the right of on, and then click cycle, and it'll be all cycle. So now it's on for 30 on for 30 seconds out of every minute. I'm going to send it to the receiver, and then I'm going to press done. Next up, battery initialization. So you've put a full complement of 4 batteries in. So you just hit the little down item here, and you're just going to reset the timer on it. It's good for 200 days, but now it should last considerably longer because you only have it on half the time. And then just press done. Remember, this is just a counter, assuming you're putting in fresh batteries. Okay, so press done, and then go to the next. Bluetooth setup. I always suggest to our clients that I have it always off. It is a big power drain. It is rarely used, so I'm going to have it always off, and I'm going to send it to my receiver. Press done. Last but not least, the false positive filter. This just helps in getting rid of the noise being recorded on your receiver. So 65 seconds, if it doesn't get the same code in 65 seconds, it just won't log it. It's always good to have it on, mainly because you'll get rid of so much extraneous data because of the length of the signal and the amount of noise events that length of signal can generate. So make sure you send it and press done. Last, the beacon setup is always good. Make sure that it's not an ID anywhere close to your IDs. And for arrays, I generally suggest about 15 seconds, but 30 seconds is also okay. And I'm going to send that, and then I'm going to press done. The beacon ID is enabled by this checkbox, and that's the number value you'll see in your data. So press done, and the most important step is start data logging. As you can see over here in the left window, ID 5000, your beacon, which is now enabled, should show up every 15 seconds. And any other noise values or codes that you have out there should show up in that detections window as well. And that's setting up the WHS4350 receiver.